What is your breakthrough idea? So this is step number 4. We've already discussed your MTP, massively transformative purpose. We've looked at community, building a team. Now we're going to look at the breakthrough idea. Hey, I'm John Harris and welcome to another episode of Exponential Radio. And we've been discussing how to build your own exponential organization. So what we need to understand is your MTP, your combined vision and mission statement, which is really about what you want and how you want to achieve that and why. We now move to the actual problem. So, for example, our MTP for outdoor environmental education is saving the planet with environmental education. Obviously, it's long term, is to help address various environmental issues without going down that rabbit hole. But that's not the problem. So what we're trying to do is we're saying, look, it's through a lot of it is through ignorance and not having the right information, decisions that we made, and for the future generations, what we do is we take a youth on environmental tours into wilderness areas so that we're doing environmental conservation at the same time as giving them an overview of environment and the importance of environment and looking after it. So the problem is pollution mostly, and a lot of other things that go with that. So we're looking at our solution is a longer term one, is via education, changing attitudes, and you do that through changing worldviews and via education. So you're going to look at what is the problem and what is your solution. What happens to most of us is that we get very focused on our solution and we kind of make it the be all and end all of what we're doing. And a lot of times when we feed that back as a minimum viable product, we get completely different feedback from the general population, the crowd. So our community that we build will start to advise us, as to perhaps some things that we need to change, what we need to be looking at and what we need to address. So the thing here is to fall in love with the problem and how you're going to address that problem as opposed to the solution per se. I mean, the solution is important, obviously, but you got to really understand the problem. And it's not that easy. A lot of times you have to dig very deep to understand the real issues behind the problem, the real core basis for that problem. So this is things that we're looking at when we come through that breakthrough idea, and you're going to take your team and your community, and you're going to take your MTP, and then you're going to look at your breakthrough idea to try and find where the real core problem is and how you can solve that. What you've got to remember is that this breakthrough idea needs to be large, a disruptor. It needs to be 10x. Now, we've looked at the power of, making 2x change in financial institutions and things, but 10x is important, and it's because of that engagement that it can extract from people or get their attention and really get them to move. So it's difficult to get people to take action. And if you have a 10x, something that is radically different is what I'm trying to say, that would then excite somebody enough to say, okay, this is really what I've been looking for, this addressable, and this is really going to make a big difference. Then they will make that change. They're not going to do it in your 5% incremental changes. That doesn't do it for people. Because it's for 3 things. It's those resources. So if you look at the money that it's going to cost, the time that it will take, and a lot of things are effort. People are very resilient to utilizing or making change because of the effort it takes. It's uncomfortable. And even when they change to a new thing, it doesn't take long before them to put it into auto mode and that too be comfortable. So it's just in our ability, because it's a manner of saving energy. If our brain is constantly adapting and changing and changing and changing, we're burning a lot of energy to assimilate all this new information. Whereas once we get it into a pattern, then we can actually save a lot of energy, because it's the same as driving a car. After a while, it's fairly automatic. Maybe for more for some people than others. Those that can do their hair and lipstick and everything and drive. Okay, so we're looking to leverage information, obviously to cut those margins, to make it, drive down the cost of sale, drive down supply costs. And you're going to look at MTP through a couple of lenses. One is the MTP itself for the disruptive tech it can employ. And the other one is for the different type of business model that it utilizes. So it's very radically different business model. And obviously there are a lot of different types of models. But you'll find that when you talk about especially exponentials, there is a very big difference in the business. It's very flat, it's very integrated. So that is something to think about. If you think about the metaverse, you think about the disruption, everything from AI, robotics, you've got a longevity environment, agriculture, etc., and obviously education. I mean, education with MR, VR, AR is going to change hugely. And where there are a lot of shortages in, let's say, oversized classes, that's going to shrink down to the individual. The speed at which individual learns, a child learns, the subjects they're going to learn, and under a metaverse type environment, augmented or virtual, they're going to be in, if they're learning history, they'd actually be in the Battle of Waterloo, and they'd be there experiencing what was happening. It's a very powerful experiential learning process. So things like that are going to be unfolding very rapidly in the near future. So these are things that you've got to think about when you're building your exponential organization, the industry that you're in, and the kind of tech that you can use and the kind of tech that you can combine with other techs. So those are some of the things to think about. Look, this has been a quick overview. It's not for the expert coders in AI, but it is for people who sort of don't quite understand how you're going to get your business to become part of this exponential explosion. And as usual, you can get some of the back orders in at johnarthurharris.blogspot.com, and you can go over some of the previous episodes. Otherwise, we will see you in the next one.